First of all, I would like to thank organizing committee from the APACC for inviting me to share with you on the topic of strategies for applying research grant in challenging funding environment. I'm Associate Professor Thanyawee Puthanakit from Faculty of Medicine, Chulalongkorn University, based in Bangkok, Thailand. I'm a pediatric infectious disease specialist who have interest in pediatric and adolescent HIV. When we talk about research grant application, it might be intimidating for the young investigators. Today, I'd like to give an overview of why we need to apply for research grant, how to apply, and what to expect in this journey. The first question of why to apply research grant. This specific question is very important. Each of you need to answer your own questions. What is the research questions that is matter for you? For example, my own journey. 20 years ago, when I'm a pediatric resident in Chiang Mai, I dealing with pediatric AIDS patients, dying children. My research questions is how I can help this child to be able to have normal life and go back to the normal quality of life. Then the specific aims at that time is how to treat pediatric AIDS in resource-limited settings, especially in Asia. So you need to find which research questions that is matter for you, because you need a time commitment to work on that topics. So it have to be your own passion or your interest. The second question is how to apply for the research grant. You need a mentor to guide you through the way, and also the collaborator or research team to work with you to create an appropriate research grant to apply. And the last one is what to expect during this journey of research grant application. It's begin with the research concept that you interest, and then go through the process to develop the grant applications, and also have a process of submission until it's awarded. So the first important one is what is the research questions. On your left-hand side is how to develop research concept sheet, which is the critical of the successful research grant. And on your right-hand side is on the granting review criteria. I refer to NIH grant review criteria, which is a standard. So you need to know what the granting agency look for in your application. So begin with the research concept. You need to find what is your long-term goal in the research, and what is the research gaps that is relevant at that time. For example, my long-term goal is on the treatment of pediatric HIV. The research gaps is dynamic. 20 years ago, the research gaps is what the regimen that can be used or effective in suppressed virus and recover in immunosuppression state for child with HIV. But nowadays, research gaps is more on the what is the long-acting regimen that is appropriate, or what is the therapy that can not using antiretroviral drugs. Are there monoclonal antibodies or other treatment modalities? So the research gaps is dynamic over time. And when you know what is the appropriate research gaps at the time of grant proposal, or maybe in the future in the next 2 to 3 years, then you can identify the specific aims which is focused to answer that research gaps, and also design the appropriate study to address that, and also have a feasibilities in terms of the research team, research environment, and also the budget to conduct the study. These have to be written in a one single page as a roadmap when you try to apply for the research grant. So in the right-hand side is the grant review criteria. They are looking for the significance of the problem that you propose, investigators which be able to conduct the study, innovation and approach of the study design, and also the environment that need to be enable you to conduct the successful study. So where to start? There are different kind of research grants. On the left-hand side, I would like to address the Young Investigator Career Award or the Research Grant Award for the beginner. The CIPHER grant program is the programs from International AIDS Society that focus on the pediatric HIV. And this grant, you can see in details that is a grant that supports the early stage investigators with 2 years project, and to conduct study in pediatric and adolescent HIV in resource-limited settings. And this grant is a niche area for a young investigator who like to start career. However, the competitive is quite tough with 100 letter of intent, you will go through the process of first round of selection criteria, and then go through the full proposal application, and ended up with 4 to 6 awarded per year. And on the website, you can see the successful grantees. That one is key. When you apply for the grant, you can look for someone who is successful in that grant cycle to ask for advice or go through the process. For example, Dr. Suwaporn and Dr. Vipaporn is the successful grantee from the IAS from Chulalongkorn University, that they might be a resource person for you for applying early investigators career award. Another type of research grant is, there are 2 types. It's called request for applications. It means that the granting agency have identified the research grant and research priorities, and then you apply to address that problems. Investigator initiated proposal, it means that you have your own questions that you interest, and then you have to convince the granting agencies to interested in your project. Another type of the grant that I would like to introduce is there are 2 types of grants in the NIH system, and also many national granting agencies, including Thailand. It's called Research Grant and Career Development Award. Research grant is focused on the research project. For example, RO3 grant in an NIH system is a pilot feasibility 2-year project that have funding scale of about $50,000 per year. R21 is more novel, high risk to proof of the concept, even though it's 2-year project, but it's award about 3 times, up to $275,000 per grant. And the last one is RO1, it's a standard large project grant, which about 5 years with multiple aims, multiple sub-study inside in order to address a bigger research questions. And the paying scale is up to $250,000 per year. Another type is called Career Development Award. It means that not focused only on the research grant, but also on the building investigator or research team or environment to be able to continue a longer term on the research programs. And it can be in different track, for example, for early investigator, mid-career, senior investigators, or have a specific award for US institute or foreign institute. What is the tip for research grant application? When we think about research grant application, even though the long-term goal is the one that is maybe aspirational goal that you would like to do many things, but when you turn into grant application, I would like to think about the concept of building block. Each grant have to be focused and have a specific area or specific question to address. The preliminary data is also essential to prove that you have feasibility to conduct the study, and also to prove that the research proposal or approach or design that you propose is valid. Science and operation have to go hand in hand. Grant proposal is not equal to research proposal. Research proposal, you focus on the research study, on the science, but the grant application, you need other components such as administrative, someone who collect CV and also the letter of support for each institute, make sure that the finances go through correctly as required by the granting agency. So you need teams to help you provide both science on the research proposal and also administrative and operation of the grant. And when you are a beginner or starting the career, the support from mentor is very important to make sure that you provide appropriate component in the grant. And even you are in the mid-career, the mock grant review, if you ask friends or colleagues to go through the process of grant review and give feedback to you, it will be very helpful for shaping the grant. And also for the research groups, it's very important. If you are in the beginner level, you should be within the research groups, within the established research network, to make sure that you have full-time research staff to support you to write a good grant application. You have a track record of collaboration among stakeholders to be a research team. For example, that one, it will be help you to write successful first grant. What to expect? Everyone would like to have a good grant. And what a good grant means, in my opinion, the good grant is the grant that was funded and also focus with what matters to you as a research career. Because the most important thing, not the money or the funding support, but the time commitment after you receive the grant, 2, 3, or 5 years that you committed to do the research that you propose in the grant. So you make sure that you get funded with the research questions that is focused and matter to you. The second one is to choose the grants that match with your career stage. As I'm a pediatrician, I'm thinking something that developmental approach. So beginning with infants, if you're the first comer or beginner, you need to focus, find a small research grant with seed money that apply for 2-year grant, not too competitive, and help you building your career. And after you get 1 or 2 grants, then going to the childhood area when you have 3 to 5 year grant, a longer term, because you know exactly what is your research focus is. And then you have time to conduct study and also produce the publication from your grant proposal to establish footprint in that research area. And then when you're mature, you're thinking about more diversified topics to apply for the R01 or R21 that is more novel, or program grant that have capacity building to expand your research team and research environment to be able to address different kind of research questions, or even mentoring younger investigators. The important thing is that don't put all eggs in the same basket. You need to try to apply to different granting agency, different research group, because if you put everything in the same granting agency or with the same research groups, if something happens, it might affect your sustainability of the research group or the research programs. And also at the end, I'm thinking about grant application like pregnant women. When you conceive the idea, you need times to incubate or prepare the idea and provide a good grant application. And when it's awarded, it's like you deliver baby. You need to have a time commitment, 3 to 5 years, to make sure that you'll be able to pursue the research proposal that you propose in the grant, and also produce the publication, or even thinking ahead of the next grant proposal that you would like to conduct. So at the end, I would like to encourage that in a research career, grant proposal is one of the things to be prepared, and start with the project or the grants that appropriate with your career stage, with a good mentoring or in a good research collaboration or research network is the key for the success of the grant application. Thank you and good luck for your grant proposal.